What if I told you that right now, like literally next month, you could walk into the Sistine Chapel without waiting in line? You could catch perfect winter surf and, soak up guaranteed 20-degree sunshine, all for under $100 a day? February in Europe is about to become your new favorite travel hack. Today we're breaking down 3 destinations that prove February isn't off-season, it's your season. We've got Portugal for the surf chasers and adventure seekers who happen to love a good deal, the Canary Islands for anyone who needs actual beach weather in the dead of winter, and Rome for the culture seekers who've dreamed of the Vatican without the shoulder-to-shoulder crowds. Real experiences, honest trade-offs, and exactly how to pull this off if you book in the next few weeks. Let's get into it. Okay, let's start with Portugal because this is where February gets genuinely wild. World-class Atlantic surf cozy wine cellars and daily costs that'll make you question why anyone travels in summer. February is peak Atlantic swell season. We're talking powerful, consistent waves that draw surfers from around the world. I've stood on the cliffs at Ericeira watching sets roll in that would cost you triple to chase in August. And in February, you're sharing the lineup with a fraction of the crowd. But let's be clear, this is not beginner surf. The ocean is big, cold, and demands respect. Water temps hit 14 to 16 degrees Celsius, so you're looking at a 4-3 or even 5-4 wetsuit situation with booties. If you're intermediate or above though, this is when Portugal delivers. Ericeira, a world surfing reserve about an hour from Lisbon, runs 56% wave consistency in February. That's the best in Southern Europe. And the budget play is real surf camp packages that cost 400 to 550 euros in summer, drop to 250 to 400 in February. 30 to 40% off for better waves and fewer people. And then there's Nazaré. Even if you don't surf, February offers the most spectacular free show in Europe. We're talking potential swells of 15 to 30 meters. The viewing platform at the Fort of São Miguel Arcanjo costs 2 euros. 2 euros. To watch some of the biggest waves on the planet. I've been there twice now and it never gets old. There's nothing quite like feeling the ground shake when a big set comes through. Now let me talk about what makes this even better. The numbers. Hostel dorms in Porto, and I mean good hostels, not questionable mattress situations, run $8 to $17 a night in February. In Lisbon, you're looking at 15 to 25. Compare that to summer when those same beds cost 35 to 40 bucks and book out weeks in advance. Portugal's secret weapon is the prato do dia, plate of the day. Most local spots serve up a 3-course lunch for 8 to 12 bucks, and sometimes that includes wine. Breakfast is a pastel de nata and a coffee for under $3. Self-catering? You can hit 10 to 15 bucks a day on groceries easy. Add in local transport. A day pass in Lisbon runs around 7 euros, and you're looking at 45 to 60 euros daily. These are real, sustainable budgets that let you stay longer and do more. The trade-off? Weather. Let's be honest about this. February in Portugal means rain. Expect 10 to 14 rainy days in Lisbon and 14 to 16 in Porto. Those aren't maybe a drizzle days. That's actual weather you need to plan around. But it's not cold. Daytime temps sit around 11 to 17 degrees Celsius. Totally walkable with layers. And Portuguese indoor culture? World class. Rainy days are for port wine cellars in Porto, where tastings run 14 to 30 euros and include actual education, not just drinking. They're for the National Tile Museum in Lisbon, 5 euros, which might be the most underrated museum in Europe. They're for lingering in cafes where nobody rushes you. So, pack layers. Pack a good rain jacket. Embrace the rhythm. Quick logistics for making this happen. Lisbon to Porto on the high-speed train runs 15 to 50 euros depending on when you book. Do it through the official CP Railways website. There are scam sites out there that look legit but aren't. Getting to surf country. Ericeira is about an hour from Lisbon via Caras Metropolitana buses from Campo Grande station. $4.50 each way, and buses run hourly. Peniche takes about an hour 45 via Rede Expressos from Sete Rios, around 10 to 15 euros. Mark your calendar. February 13th through 17th is Carnival in Portugal, with Carnival Tuesday being a national holiday. Lisbon goes off in Barro Alto, but for something more authentically Portuguese, Torres Vedras, an hour from Lisbon, throws the country's most local, satirical carnival celebration. Mostly free, totally worth the day trip. Let's shift gears completely because the Canary Islands are the wild card that most people don't even consider. And honestly, that's what makes them perfect. Picture this. It's February. Everyone back home is bundled up complaining about the cold. And you're sitting on a beach at 20 degrees Celsius with 7 hours of sunshine ahead of you. The ocean's swimmable at 18 to 19 degrees. This isn't nice for winter. This is actual legitimate beach weather. The only place in Europe where you'll find it. I spent 3 weeks in the Canaries last winter, and the contrast is almost surreal. You land from gray, rainy northern Europe and step into what feels like permanent late spring. Now, the island breakdown, because they're not all created equal. Gran Canaria is the best overall value and my pick for first-timers. Strong hostel infrastructure in Las Palmas, excellent public transport, and the Maspalomas dunes, completely free and genuinely spectacular. Walking those dunes at sunset with basically no one around? That's the low-season magic right there. Tenerife offers the most comprehensive bus system and free access to Tidy National Park, Spain's most visited national park and home to the highest peak in Spain. The south side is sunnier, the north is greener and more local. So let's break down the budget that really makes this whole trip work. Gran Canaria comes in at around €66 per day if you plan carefully. Tenerife is just a bit higher, at 68. Hostel dorms? You're looking at 17 to €32 per night on the main islands. If you stick to groceries at Mercadona or Lidl, you'll keep yourself fed for just 10 to €15 a day. And honestly, some of the best attractions are totally free. Think some of Europe's most dramatic volcanic landscapes. Inter-island hopping usually runs anywhere from 18 to €80 by ferry, depending on your route and the timing. Fred Olsen Express and Naviera Armas are your main options here. For example, the hop from Lanzarote to Fuerteventura is a quick 25 minutes and costs between 18 and €33. Super easy day trip. Binter Airlines sometimes drops flight prices to €29 during promos, so it's worth checking both ferries and flights. Pro tip: definitely book ferries and flights 2 to 3 weeks in advance, because walk-up fares can run 20 to 40% higher. Now, what really sets the Canaries apart in February is Carnival. Tenerife Carnival runs from February 11th through the 22nd in 2026, and honestly, it's not exaggerating to call it one of the largest carnival celebrations in the world. The theme is Latin rhythms, and the Grand Parade on February 17th draws hundreds of thousands of people. Plus, most events are completely free. The energy is just infectious. Imagine beach weather and street parties all rolled into one. Gran Canaria counters with its legendary Drag Queen Gala on February 20th in Las Palmas. Those ticketed events run 5 to €15 and sell out super quickly, but all the surrounding street celebrations are free and totally worth planning around. The catch is, accommodation prices spike by 20 to 30% during Carnival weeks, and availability tightens up really fast. If you're aiming for Carnival, book now. But if you want to avoid the crowds entirely, Lanzarote and Fuerteventura have the same gorgeous weather, but much quieter celebrations. Either way, European sunshine in February for under $100 a day, that's the opportunity. Rome is really the culture play, and February brings something that summer just can't: space to actually experience it. Last February, I walked into the Vatican museums on a Tuesday morning and honestly, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Galleries that would be shoulder to shoulder in July? They were practically empty. There was room to stand in front of a painting for as long as you wanted. No one shoving past you with a selfie stick. So, Rome actually sees about 40 to 50% fewer visitors in February compared to those super busy summer months. The Vatican museums, which can totally hit 30,000 daily visitors in July. In February, you can often get same-day tickets, and honestly, there's actual space to appreciate what you're looking at. The Colosseum still requires advance booking, but you can forget about those 2 to 3 hour summer queues. The best days to visit are Tuesday, Wednesday mornings, Thursday, and Friday. You get that walk-in experience energy with just a bit of planning. Oh, and just a heads up for 2026 specifically. The Sistine Chapel's Last Judgment is undergoing maintenance through March, so there might be some scaffolding partially obscuring Michelangelo's masterwork. That's a real trade-off to weigh. The budget math is actually better than Rome's reputation suggests. Hotels average 61 to €90 per night versus summer's 150 to 250. Hostel dorms run 25 to 40 compared to 40 to 60 in peak season. That's like 35 to 40% off across the board. Backpackers can genuinely manage 50 to 79 euros daily with dorm stays and street food. Think pizza al taglio at 3 to 6 euros a slice, or those amazing supply rice balls at about $1.50, plus strategic use of free attractions. The Pantheon? Free. Wandering the historic center? Totally free. Trastevre's winding streets at golden hour? Free and honestly just spectacular. For paid attractions, the Vatican museums total 25 euros including the booking fee, and you can add 7 for the audio guide. The Colosseum Forum Palatine combo runs 18 euros for basic access, or 24 for the full experience with underground and arena floor. The Borghese Gallery is 17 euros, but heads up, it requires advance booking regardless of the season. Strict visitor limits mean February doesn't guarantee availability. The Roma Pass at around 32 euros bundles 2 attractions plus unlimited public transport for 48 hours. It's definitely worth it if you're hitting multiple sites. What most people totally miss. February in Rome is honestly a photographer's paradise. Winter light means dramatic low-angle conditions with those extended golden hours. The soft directional light that actually makes photographs way more compelling instead of flat. For weather, you can expect average highs of 12 to 15 degrees Celsius, but nighttime lows can dip toward freezing. There are usually 7 to 8 rainy days, though rain typically comes in manageable bursts rather than those all-day washouts. So, pack layers, waterproof walking shoes, and just embrace alternating outdoor exploration with some cozy museum time. If you're in Rome during February, there's a compelling side trip. Venice Carnival runs from January 31st through February 17th in 2026. Rome to Venice on high-speed trains takes about 3 hours and 15 minutes, and tickets range from 17 to 30 euros if you book in advance through Trenitalia or Italo. Peak Carnival days are Fat Thursday, February 7th, and Fat Tuesday, February 17th, for the full masquerade experience. Oh, and Valentine's Day offers romantic timing if that's your angle. The trade-off is that Venice accommodation prices spike significantly during Carnival, and the city expects around 3 million visitors across the celebration. But here's a nice perk. Venice's controversial €5 day tripper fee doesn't apply during the Carnival period. For a 2 to 3 day Venice edition, you're looking at 150 to 250 euros including train, hostel, and expenses. But honestly, the experience is genuinely once yearly and unlike anything else in Europe. Let's make this decision simple because these 3 destinations serve genuinely different travelers. Choose Portugal if you're chasing adventure on a budget. Atlantic swells at 30 to 40% off summer prices, surf camps with room to spare, and the most authentic local atmosphere of the 3. Daily costs of 45 to 70 euros mean you can stay longer and go deeper. Best for surfers, solo travelers, and anyone who wants to feel like a local rather than a tourist. Choose the Canary Islands if you need guaranteed sunshine and beach weather, 20 degrees 7 hours of daily light actual swimming. This is the only place in Europe delivering that in February. If you're working remotely and want an extended winter escape, monthly rentals at 800 to 1200 euros make it genuinely sustainable. And if Carnival energy plus warm weather sounds perfect, Tenerife's celebration is world-class. Best for sunseekers, digital nomads, and anyone who's done with winter. Choose Rome if major cultural experiences are the priority. Walking into the Sistine Chapel without summer's crushing crowds, that alone justifies the trip. Add Venice Carnival as a bonus, and you've got a February that delivers once-in-a-lifetime moments at 40% off. Best for first-time Europe visitors, culture seekers, and photographers chasing that winter light. Quick comparison. Weather. Canaries win decisively at 20 to 21 degrees with guaranteed sun. Rome's 12 to 15 is comfortable for walking. Portugal's 11 to 17 is mild but rainiest. Alright, so let's talk numbers. Portugal is actually the cheapest, with daily costs running about 45 to 60 euros. The Canaries, they're a bit more, around 65 to 95. And Rome, that usually lands somewhere between 50 and 80 euros a day. Now, as for crowds, honestly, all 3 are dramatically emptier than they are in the summer. Rome, in particular, gives you the most striking contrast from its peak season. It's almost like a different city. When it comes to planning, these spots are super spontaneous friendly, which is honestly such a relief. If you want the best prices, just book 2 to 4 weeks out. No need to stress months in advance. The only exception is during Carnival weeks, when you'll want to lock things in a bit earlier. So, what does February in Europe actually offer? Well, it's the same incredible culture, the same stunning landscapes, and, yeah, the same experiences that draw millions in summer, but at 40 to 50% less cost, and with dramatically fewer crowds, for anyone willing to just embrace the season instead of fighting it. Seriously, just pack layers, build in some flexibility, and stop waiting for those so-called perfect conditions that end up costing twice as much and come with lines around the block. If you're ready to stop waiting for summer prices and summer crowds, go ahead and subscribe. We drop new destination intel every week, covering everything from peak season splurges to low season adventures like this one. And hey, comment below and tell me, Portugal, Canaries, or Rome? Where are you headed? Your nomadic guide will see you in the next